In the dim glow of her laboratory, Elise adjusted her holographic screen. The equations weren't adding up, and her grant was running out. In her world, everything was cold precision. Sterile skyscrapers scraping an ashen sky, algorithms controlling every facet of life. Love, dreams, spontaneity, antiquated notions eradicated long ago. She sighed and leaned back in her chair, staring at the anomaly flickering on her screen. "Just a bug," she muttered, tapping the screen. But the anomaly didn't vanish. Instead, it expanded, a ripple in the air that shimmered like molten silver. Her heart skipped as the ripple stabilized, and through it, she glimpsed a room. It was chaotic, messy, and bathed in warm, golden light. A man sat in the center, surrounded by books and paintings. His world seemed alive, bursting with colors she hadn't seen in years. She gasped, and that's when he looked up, directly at her. "What the?" he said, jumping to his feet. They stared at each other, speechless. Elise finally found her voice. "Who are you? Where am I looking?" "I could ask you the same thing," he replied, his brows furrowed. "I was just sketching when this portal thing opened." Elise's mind raced. "This is impossible. The anomaly, no, it's a tear in the dimensional barrier. You're in a parallel universe." His eyes widened, then he smirked. "A parallel universe? That explains why your place looks so futuristic. I'm Sam, by the way. And you, Elise." The glitch flickered, the connection momentarily crackling with static. "Wait," she said, panic rising in her chest. "This tear, it's unstable. If we lose this connection, I don't know if I can open it again." "Well, then," Sam said with a nervous laugh, "we'd better make the most of it." And so began their impossible conversation. Two strangers from different worlds, bound by a fleeting window into each other's lives. Neither realized how deeply they'd need each other before the glitch inevitably sealed their fates. Days passed, and the anomaly between Elise's world and Sam's remained, unstable but persistent. Each time the rift flickered into view, they rushed to communicate, sharing fragments of their lives in a hurried dance. The glitch was unpredictable, sometimes lasting mere minutes, other times hours. They traded stories about their worlds, their dreams, and the strange sensation of knowing someone who was so far yet so close. Elise's world was cold, unfeeling. Technology was the foundation, and everything revolved around data. There were no places for emotion to breathe, no space for error or the joy of uncalculated passion. People rarely looked at one another outside of work, and the concept of love, for her, had long been relegated to the history books. But Sam's world was different. His was a place of vibrant colors, of laughter echoing through open markets, of spontaneous adventures and wild, unplanned moments. There were no algorithms to dictate what people could feel, no heavy clouds hanging above their heads telling them what they were allowed to dream. Sam's world was free, wild, and filled with warmth, something Elise hadn't even realized she'd been missing until now. Their conversations grew deeper with every meeting. Sam told her about his art, the canvas of his life, the way he saw beauty in everything from the wrinkles of an old man's smile to the delicate petals of a dying flower. Elise, in turn, shared her work, the equations that governed her universe, the patterns she could predict but never fully understand. But the more they spoke, the more they realized that they weren't just exchanging ideas. They were discovering pieces of themselves that had long been buried. One evening, as Elise sat in front of her holographic screen, watching the rippling rift shimmer, Sam asked, "What do you think love is?" Elise blinked, taken aback. I don't know. I've never really thought about it." She shifted uncomfortably in her chair. "It's not something that makes sense in my world. Love is illogical, an inefficiency. People fall in and out of it all the time. It doesn't last." "Maybe it doesn't have to last forever to be real," Sam said softly, leaning forward in his own world. "Maybe it's about how it makes you feel in the moment, about how it changes you." Elise felt a tug in her chest at his words. She looked at the rift, as if it could offer some kind of explanation for the strange emotions swirling inside her. But How can we even have love if it's all going to end soon? You and I, we're from different worlds, Sam finished for her, a slight smile tugging at the corner of his lips. I know, but that doesn't change how I feel, Elise. And I'm starting to think. Maybe love is about finding someone you connect with even if you can't explain it. Even if you only have a short time to share it. The glitch flickered violently, the rift shuddering as though it was preparing to close forever. Elise's heart raced, and she gripped the sides of her chair, her fingers trembling. No, no, no. Not now. Not when. I'm starting to understand what this means. I don't want it to end. Elise, Sam said urgently, his voice full of raw emotion. I don't want to lose you. The connection wavered, and for a moment, all they could see were distorted images of one another. Elise felt the weight of the universe crashing down on her. Could she live in a world without Sam? Could she survive knowing the one person who made her feel alive was so far beyond her reach? I think we can fix this, Elise said, her voice trembling with determination. I've been working on a theory for years. If I can just stabilize the rift, I can make a permanent connection. But I'll need time, and, Sam, I don't know how much time we have left before this thing collapses for good. I'll wait for you. I'll do anything to stay in contact with you, Sam promised, his gaze filled with unwavering hope. You'll find a way, Elise. I know you will. The rift shuddered again, this time even more violently, and the screen flickered out for several long moments. Elise's heart stopped as she stared at the blank screen in front of her. Was it over? Had the connection truly been severed? Then, as suddenly as it had vanished, the rift appeared again, more fractured but still there. Elise's breath caught in her throat. Sam, I'm here, he replied, his voice laced with both relief and sadness. But I don't know how much longer this will last. Elise's mind raced, her hands working furiously at the controls. I'll do whatever it takes to keep us connected, even if it means. Suddenly, an alert flashed across the screen. Dimensional rift unstable. Repair attempt failed. A countdown began, showing only hours remaining before the rift would close completely. Elise, Sam said softly, his voice crackling with static. I don't think we can stop it. Maybe it's meant to be this way. Maybe love isn't about fighting for forever. Maybe it's about making the most of the time you have. Tears blurred Elise's vision as she looked at the countdown ticking down relentlessly. The universe was pulling them apart, and no matter what she did, they couldn't fight it. But in those last precious moments, she understood something profound. Love wasn't always about staying together. Sometimes, it was about how deeply two souls could touch each other before the world moved them in different directions. As the countdown reached its final moments, Elise whispered, I love you, Sam. I love you too, Sam whispered back, his voice the last thing she would hear as the rift flickered out for the final time. And just like that, their worlds were separated, forever.